I can show up here.
We're doing a Hail Mary pass and we're hoping this works. So welcome everybody online and in the room. I'm Cecile, the coordinator for the Maji Center. At NATE, we honor and acknowledge that the land on which we learn, work, and live in is Treaty 6 territory. This place is a traditional homeland for the First Nations and Métis peoples, and today we are all part of this treaty land. Traditional name for this place is Amiskwaki-Waskigan, which we also call the city of Edmonton. So today we have Colin Christensen joining us. Colin is a serial entrepreneur. I'm not even going to list your business with Colin, but he is also the executive in residence. So what Dale did for us, Colin does at MacEwan, or MacEwan University. And so he's got several. He helped us last spring with a session that we did, and it was really well received. So we wanted to bring him back, and it's all about first impressions, 30-second commercial. Really, when you first meet somebody or when you have an opportunity to make that initial impression. So hopefully.
We're almost there.
We're almost there. I'm stalling now. If you haven't registered to show up for the Business Showcase event, so if you're a student entrepreneur, register a booth. It's free. And we can showcase your business. And that you have to register by the end of tomorrow. And if you're not a student entrepreneur, but you want to support student entrepreneurs, students, anybody outside of NATE as well is welcome to come. And it's March 22nd from 4 to 6 p.m. There will be food. There will be treats. And we will be voting on the top booths and giving away $6,000.
So we got another speaker tomorrow, Susan, right?
Yes, we do. Tomorrow we're virtual though, because Diana couldn't make it in from Fort McMurray. So we were supposed to be in person and virtual, but tomorrow is virtual, and although I'll set up in here if anybody wants to show up in person. And it's on branding, all about branding. And next week we jump into incorporation. Should you incorporate or not? And that will be interesting because Greg Sherburne's our mentor and lawyer, and he is very entertaining presenter. Are we still stalling? We're still stalling, people.
It's okay. I can you're gonna have fun with this. Okay, so hi everyone. Where is my field of vision? I know.
Anywhere, the whole wall is here.
Yeah, can you see them here?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's pretty impressive. So I'm really bug-eyed. Anyways, welcome to everybody here locally and everybody online. As Cecile mentioned, my name's Colin, and I get to talk to you about pitching. So do you all have businesses? Are you working on something? Got an idea at least? Yeah, okay, that's good, that's good. So one of the things I get to do, I mean, I do, as Cecile mentioned, I have a ton of businesses. I've been in business since I was 10, from mowing lawns and we're looking after graveyards and dealing with all the acreages around my house when I was like 10 years old. I painted jackets when I was in high school, and then I kind of continued to evolve that into a graphic design company. Eventually it became a digital media company, and we built a bunch of CD-ROMs in the 90s. And then I've been a recruiter. I've had tons of jobs, tons of businesses, and some have gone great. Some have been big smoking craters, everything in between. So lots of lessons learned. Currently, I spend a lot of my time mentoring. So as Dale does a little bit, or used to do anyway, I'm an EIR, an entrepreneur in residence over at MacEwan. And I also set up a micro-lending crowdfunding platform around the world. So we're in 10 countries, 4 languages, teaching entrepreneurs how to start a small business and then funding them through crowdfunding to get small loans. So far, we've had 100% repayments, launched our first loans in April 2020. Might remember that date. And right at the start of COVID, we launched all our loans, and we still have had, through hurricanes and all kinds of craziness going on through Central America and overseas, we've had 100% repayment of loans. So that's one of my favorite things to do. But where I'm going with all of this is I spend a lot of time with entrepreneurs, a lot of time listening to them and talking to them. I actually get to serve right now. I have the opportunity to serve as a shadow mentor. I'm being trained by 500 Global. So 500 Global is considered one of the biggest accelerators in the world. And so the lessons that I learned there, and they're kind of uniform. They're the same across anything. If you want to start a business, there's a few fundamentals that you need to know, need to understand. And if you get them right, you're going to be awesome. So there's a thing coming up in a couple of months called Adventures, as an example. And they have a 2-minute pitch competition. You have 2 minutes to pitch your idea. That's not a lot of time. And when you're standing toe to toe with somebody and you're explaining your business to them in a room when they say, hey, so what do? You got to be able to explain it in a really short amount of time. Thank you. A really short amount of time so that people understand what you're talking about and then be able to go, oh, that's cool. And even if they're not your perfect ideal customer, that they go, I know somebody I should introduce you to, right? The outcome of a good pitch, a simple pitch, is being able to get more people engaged and use you. Here's me and my beautiful family. I'm the funny looking one in the middle. We're a bunch of metalheads, except my wife. My wife's an 80s pop queen, so we have two playlists when we're in a car. We're doing a trip down through the mountains this weekend, and we'll have the 80s playlist going. The rest of the time, we're listening to like Gojira and Tool and heavy duty Slipknot stuff and all that kind of death metal. So we're big fans of that. So 1,000 some odd entrepreneurs I've mentored, plus or minus, 2,000 some odd pitches, raised a bunch of money, wrote a book, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, whatever. Oh, but this is important. I want so much. If I could help entrepreneurs just avoid needless failure, that's the key to all of it. Okay. That's where I want to try to get to. There's so many things, it's not intuitive to start a business. And if we could help them avoid a lot of the needless holes, right? Let's go out and spend all our money on something that nobody wants. Don't do that. Okay. We're going to talk about that. So this is what we're going to cover today. There's 3 big ideas. We're going to talk about building something people want, planning the journey, and telling the story. All of them go together when it comes to pitching, when it comes to telling your story or telling an elevator pitch. By the way, I hate the term elevator pitch. You know why? Because if you ever heard an elevator pitch, okay, give me your elevator pitch, and they go like this, okay. Nobody ever talks like that. That's not how it works. You know, the question is usually something a lot more along the lines of, you know, what are you working on? Or tell me about your business, or what do you do? And you don't get into this formalized, eloquent speech. It's conversational. It has to be conversational or nobody cares. So don't do that. So the first thing I want you to think about, and in any entrepreneurship, is you are your first investor. You're putting your time, your money, your energy into the business. So what do you want out of it? Do you want more freedom? Do you want more money? Do you want more cachet? Like, look at me, I'm an entrepreneur. All of that is allowable. All of that is okay. You just got to know that if you're putting something into it, are you going to get out of it what you want? And sometimes that takes a little while. Sometimes it happens immediately. Whatever it is, just make sure that as you are the first investor, it also allows you to look at your business objectively instead of you thinking you know everything and you got the most beautiful baby in the world. Okay? It doesn't work that way. Most of the time, everybody looks at your baby and goes, that's ugly. Right? So you want to make sure that you're looking at it with objective eyes so that you can make good decisions about your business. Okay, so the steps we're going to talk about here, the first one, as I mentioned, is kind of building something that people want. So I don't know if you know about this, but if you've ever seen this before, this is CB Insights did a study of a whole bunch of business failures, and they broke them down into how they fail. Look at that first one. No market need, 42%. In other words, like, how does this happen? Half the people built something nobody cared about. How does that happen? Well, it makes sense, right? I got this great idea for a business. I think everybody's going to love it. And then you go and spend all your savings on building something, and then you take it to the market and they go, nah. But it's such a great idea. Look at it, does this and that and the other thing. And everybody goes, yeah, it doesn't solve my problem, right? It happens all the time. Even when we think we don't do it, we're doing it. So we've got to make sure that we fight against that. And then, by the way, the second one is ran out of cash and not the right team. Those are the top 3 reasons. Build a good team. Don't hire your brother-in-law just because he's out of work, developer. Might be a reason why he's out of work. Manage your cash flow. Cash flow is timing, not budget. Budget is a bunch of profit and loss. Cash flow is when it happens. If I run out of money, if I have rent due today and I don't get paid till Friday, we have a cash flow problem. It's not a money problem, it's a cash flow problem. Make sense? Okay, there, that's my entrepreneur lesson for today. Okay, there's this term that I really, really love, and how do you avoid building something that nobody wants? Think of what the job to be done is. Everybody has a job to be done. Those chips right there, is it chips or is it crackers? Oh, crackers, okay, Ritz. So those chips have a job to be done, right? They're nutritious. No, they're not. They're delicious though, right? They're delicious, and they have this little satisfactory thing. But it's a job to be done. If that cracker doesn't do a job, he's going to fire it, right? Take a bite of it, sucks. You're going to throw it out. That's how we do everything. How you buy your shirt, how you buy your technology, how you buy everything. It's a job that you're expecting to be done, and if it's not going to do it, fire it. So there's 3 areas that you want to look at if you're really thinking about slowing down the process of buying something. When is this problem come up on the radar, right? And what are you trying to accomplish with it? And so you can get some kind of a payout, some kind of an outcome, some kind of a transformation, right? I get those cool things in my hair because I want it to look good, right? I want to feel good. I want to feel confident. And so there's a payout that everybody's looking for, and there's a way to get it. And then there's the situation of when it pops up. So you've got to be able to identify when it's happening, because nobody makes a decision based on just, winging it or it sounds really, really good. If everybody made wise, smart decisions all the time, logical, clear, we'd all have 6-pack abs and be millionaires, right? I mean, let's face it, that's it. But we don't always make the best choices. We make emotional choices. So we've got to do this. So has anybody heard this idea before, right? When people go buy a drill, they're not buying a drill. What are they buying? A hole, right? So, right, maybe you've heard that term before. So, a guy walks in, he's looking at Home Depot and he's like, I need a drill. It's like, what do you need a drill for? Well, I need a hole. Okay, this is where most people stop. See, they're not buying a drill, they're buying a hole. Yeah, but let's ask more questions. So why do you need a hole? Well, I need a receptacle, I need a plug, I need to plug something into the wall. Okay, why do you need a plug? Well, I need a lamp so I can, I need a lamp so I can plug into the wall. I need a hole in the wall with a plug, and so I can buy a drill and make it happen. What do you need that for? So I can read at night. Well, just buy a Kindle. See, my point is, we spend so much time thinking of these 2 things, and we don't ask enough questions to actually understand why somebody wants to buy it. Where's the problem existing in the first place? Because if we understood where the problem was, we might suggest a different response. So when we're talking about pitches, the most important part is we've got to understand the problem that we're trying to solve, the job to be done, right? Okay. I missed one. There's this thing in there that I wanted to show, and I don't, maybe I didn't get it. Okay. It'll probably come up. Okay. Next is you need to plan a journey. Plan a journey for who? Not for you. You're not planning a journey for you. You're planning a journey for your customer. How do they find out about you? How do they move through the process to buy things from you? So this is a little thing I designed for a friend of mine. He's a big venture capitalist. He owns a $100 million fund here in town. And so there's this idea of how people come into your business and then turn into sales and then ultimately into revenue, right? I don't know if you've ever heard the term pirate metrics, but it's pirate metrics with AAARRR, right? Pirate metrics. It's silly, but we have fun as entrepreneurs. But this is how people become aware of you, how they start to, get interested in you, how they actually convert. Right at this point, they kind of convert from an idea and an interested in you to a, hey, I think I should buy something, right? Down into different products or services. So if you see people are flowing across the top of your funnel, and all of a sudden they go, hey, that's a cool idea. I should look into that, find out a little bit more about it, right? There was chips on the way in. I should check those out and buy them and bring them in. You get into this marketing strategy and making people aware of you and getting people excited about you. At some point they go, I want to buy something. And then there's a process. They go to a cart, they pick the chocolate bar up off the shelf and they put it on the counter and they spend their money for it. Some kind of a process. It's always some form of a process into buying the products or services that you get, and you create revenue. And then once you have revenue, how do you keep them? And how do you get them to refer for more? Loading up the top of the funnel again. So slow down and just think about each of these steps and how do they come into your business. Again, when you're talking about things, so a lot of it we're going to talk about up here is just getting this statement right at the beginning so that when you say it, people go, where have you been all my life? Right? And they want to engage with you. Oh, this is the one I was looking for. The job's to be done again. So there's an equation that goes on here. See, we all think that we've got the coolest idea, the coolest product, the coolest answer, the coolest solution to everything out there. The problem is there's an old way of doing things that they're currently doing, and there's a new way of doing things. And nobody just instantly changes. Like I said, if we did, we'd all have 6-pack abs and be millionaires. It doesn't work that way. So there's the old way that whatever they're doing right now, the status quo, the thing you're happy with, they're okay with, right? If we had sushi, I don't know about you, but if we had sushi as a snack, I'd be all over it because I love sushi, right? And I'd pick sushi over chips every single time, right? But there's an old way of doing things, and there's this push away from it. I hate this old way. It drives me nuts. I don't like doing it. So we want to leave that old way. And then there's an excitement potentially around this new way. Hey, this is exciting. This is cool. This is going to be great. I can see all the potential in this. But then there's also this anxiety, but what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't do what it says it's going to do? I don't know about that. And then there's this old way, you know what, I'm kind of happy and used to doing it the way I've always done it, right? And so if these equations don't work, nobody changes. This is why people don't just buy everything that you put out. There's all this tension, this equation that has to happen in order for people to make an idea a change, okay? Okay, so I want you to think about a problem for a second. I'm just going to stop here and have a quick exercise. So the 3-sentence pitch, I haven't even broken it down for you, but it starts with, you know how. You know how this is a problem. And if you define this right, if you say it right, you know how this thing is a problem, it'll start to help. So could any of you explain what your problem is, or your problem you're trying to solve with your idea, in one sentence like this? You know how this problem exists. What's the problem that exists? Anybody want to try? It might be tough, but I'm going to give you some great feedback. And by the end, you're going to have a whole 3-sentence pitch really worked out.
You know how moving takes forever and there's all these errors and sometimes the truck is a Tetris, right?
Okay, does anybody understand that problem? Has anybody ever moved before? Right? So you should be able to kind of go, I actually got that one. I like it. It makes sense to me. Right? You know how when you move that, I mean, my biggest thing is like U-Haul said they promised me a truck and you show up and it's not there yet. How did you do that? Well, you sold the same truck 16 times before, I mean, this is crazy. Don't even get me started. But yes, that's a real problem. If you say your problem right, people are going to go like this. And if you say it right, you can get a 10-year-old to do that. Don't use jargon. Don't use all this extra lingo. Just explain it in simple terms so that anybody can understand.
Jerome online said, do you know how there is a need to house the most vulnerable in Edmonton? That's what he said.
Okay, that's a good one. So I'm going to give a little bit of critique on that. A word like vulnerable is a $10 word, right? If you had the same thing, you know how there's a lot of people that don't have a house in Edmonton. It's just a tweak on it, but simplifying it and to make it really simple terms makes all the world of difference, like vulnerable. Okay, I'm going to pause for a quick second here, just a little psychology discussion. There's a guy named Daniel Kahneman who wrote a Nobel Prize winning book called Thinking Fast and Slow. I love the book. It's thick. I don't love it that much, but I love the first few chapters because it really starts. We have two thinking in our head. We have a fast brain thinking and a slow brain thinking. Our fast brain makes all kinds of split decisions all the time. That's how we decide if we like somebody right away. That's how it's a lot of emotional and kind of things like that. Slow thinking, it causes us to slow down. Our brain doesn't like those slow thinking. Right? It slows us down. We have to think about it. It burns calories. Our brain doesn't want to burn calories. So when we use bigger words, when we use bigger, more complex things, it causes people to go into slow thinking and everybody rebels against it. So you don't want to do that. You want to keep it nice and simple and nice and light so that it just passes the sniff test. Oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense. It doesn't, later on, you're going to go into more detail with them about whatever it is you're talking about. They're going to ask more detail. How does that work? What's the logistics behind it? How do I sign up? All those kind of things. Those are going to happen, but you got to start with something so simple that they just go, oh, that's cool. Tell me more. So that's what that slow brain, fast brain thinking is. Anybody else want to give it a quick try? We'll come back to it because I'm going to get you all to do it later. Oh, I went backwards. I'm like sliding in there twice. Okay. I like this picture. There's a certain thing. What do you know about a magnet? What does it do? Yeah? Is that it? Huh? Yeah, it can hold something. But even what's the opposite of attract? Right? Doesn't a magnet, if you drag a magnet through the world, you're not going to pick up the earth, right? it's going to push a lot of the stuff away from it, and it's going to attract only the things to it that is important. It's magnetic, ferrous, right? So a magnet, when you think of your business, your magnet is going to have that polarizing effect. You want it to have a polarizing effect. Too many entrepreneurs are going, who's your customer? Oh, everybody. If everybody's your customer, it's not true, for starters, but you want to actually repel people. You want to turn people off. You want people to not come through the funnel. Otherwise, they're going to waste your time. So what about this? Can you do this? How about you change this for me? And no, go away. Focus on the people that want you and are attracted to you. Everybody else go away. Okay? Early.
Same with dating.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Okay. So, so we're going to talk about the hero story. You might have heard of this. Joseph Campbell talks about this. Every story, almost every movie that's ever been produced pretty much follows this hero story to a degree. There's only so many plot lines and they all on them. Harry Potter, has anybody seen Star Wars? Things like this. They're all the same. Like they all cover the same thing. So how it goes is there is a hero. And it's really important to know that the hero is our client, not us. We are not the hero. I'll get to who we are in a second. But there's a hero in the story, and that hero is the person that's searching for you. They're looking. They have a problem, right? And that problem comes in kind of three parts. So I'm going to actually change this a little bit, but I'm going to explain it. So there's the external problem, or the functional problem. My pants are too tight. Okay, I need new pants. That's the functional problem. Okay. Then there's an internal problem. What's going on in my head? Okay, what's going on in my head is I eat too much. I hate myself. I need to get better pants. I'm not going to tell anybody that, right? That's not how I walk in the store. So I really eat too much and I hate my life, and so I need new pants. No, I come in, I go, can I get some new pants, please? So but that's how we just, if you can capture this part, the emotional part, that is powerful. That's where the sales happen, and that's what you want to focus on when you're solving the problem. And then the last part is this philosophical, this good versus evil. I like social is another way to put it too. There's this element of us and them. How do I look to other people? Okay, so Luke Skywalker, right? He's stuck on a planet, doesn't know who he is. Internal, why did everybody leave me? I'm abandoned. I don't know who I am. Philosophical, empire versus, rebellion. There's this kind of tension going on, good versus evil thing. Allstate does a really good job of this. There's a commercial. I don't know if you've ever seen it. I don't watch a lot of TV, but I love this commercial. And there's this guy, he's standing on an SUV with the sunroof open, and he's just sitting there with a hose, and he's just filling the car with water. He's like, hi, I'm Mayhem. I love it when you leave your sunroof open in the rain. And you can see the water going up on the side of the windows inside the car, right? And when he's explaining it, it's like, that's a perfect example of this. The external problem is, I don't have a car. It's soaked, it's not running anymore. Internal, I'm an idiot for leaving my sunroof open, and it's just not fair that the day I leave my sunroof open is the day it rains. And you're arguing and fighting over that. That's how you explain and define the problem, okay? Hero story continues. The hero meets a guide. That's you. You're the guide. You're the Yodas. You're the Hagrids. You're the Dumbledores of the world that are going to help the hero get what they want. You're going to help them craft a sword. You're going to help them learn magic. You're going to help them build a lightsaber. Whatever it is, you're the one that's going to help them get what they want out of the story, right? And so you give them a plan. If you do this, that, and the other thing, you're going to follow this. The first time for Luke Skywalker, it didn't work. He didn't follow Yoda's advice. He didn't do what he was supposed to do, and he didn't get there. But by the third movie, he becomes a Jedi Knight, and everything's cool. That guy, that plan has to call to an action. There has to be some kind of a conversion. There has to be some kind of a decision to be made. That's what your website's going to do. That's what your landing page is going to do. That's what your sales are going to do. You're going to get to a place where you convert them. And then they choose to be transformed. Or they follow the plan and are transformed, or they follow the plan, they don't follow the plan and fail. So those are the choices. You have to show what's going to be good and what's going to go bad, right? Like I said, we'd all have six-pack abs and be millionaires if we all did what we're supposed to, but we don't. So it's easier sometimes to avoid the failure than it is to attract to the thing. Purple Bricks, another commercial that does a good job with this. They say, "So did you sell your home through Purple Bricks?" And the guy goes, "No." And he says, "Oh, you should have, because it saves you this and that, and it's better this and that." And the guy goes, "Ugh," and he sticks their head into a cake, or they put speakers on and drown out the music, loud music. You know, they're avoiding the problem. So they're starting to see this is what it's going to be like if you don't follow our plan, right? So it's kind of a negative sales approach. Okay. What do I got for time, by the way? I can't remember.
Till one.
Oh, lots of time. We're going to have lots of fun talking in between, but I just, okay. I'm going to share an entire, I hate a lot of text on screens, by the way, but I'm going to break the rule for sake of this, because this is an entire blog post. Actually, there's another slide I have a lot of things on, but it's for illustration purposes only.
Sure.
So you have 10 words. So this is a blog post, and it's by Seth Godin. And he pitches this, and this blog post tends up the whole thing. The title of the blog post is you have 10 words per page. That's how many words get scanned the first time through, perhaps 5 on a billboard, right? Think of your marketing, think of your story, think of your advertising, think of the way that you convey who you are or what your business is to the world. 10 words is all you're going to get. You got me for 7 seconds. What are you going to do? Right? Which means that your memo, your ad, your announcement, your post, you get 10 words. So highlight the 10 of the 1,000 you've written. Which 10 do you want somebody to scan so that they're intrigued enough to slow down and read the rest? Right? Think of a call out in a magazine, a little blurb, that little clip that pops out on this page when you're flipping through a magazine in the doctor's office. Oh, that makes you want to go in and read the rest, right? That's what we're talking about here. You've got to get down to very, very minimal content. So if you can begin with the 10 words and then write around them, you have a foundation for an effective message. As Jay Levinson said, the best billboard ever said, "Free coffee, next exit." 4 words. Right? Effective. Huh? That's all you need. So what do you want me to see when we scan your text? Think about it this way. This is why I'm trying to get this through our heads. We need that simple language. We need that simple wording. We need those few words so that when I hear it, I go, "Oh yeah, I have no time for you." Right? And so if you're going to tell me a story, it better be interesting and short, because I'm going to be like this really fast otherwise, right? I'm going to leave. So, and why we need to do this, I said this earlier with Daniel Kahneman, a confused mind says no. Right? You're not going to buy something complex. You're not going to buy something you don't understand, right? Maybe you can go to a computer store and say, "Give me a Mac," and everybody's happy, and it's a Mac, and you just buy it and everybody's happy, right? But if you say, "I need something with this kind of a processor and this kind of thing," you're going to go, no, right? It's too much. So confused mind says no. Keep it simple, stupid, as they say. KISS, right? Okay, this is the other one with lots of text. I love this. This is how people pitch. I see it all the time. And it's from a book called Play Bigger. It's a great book. But Megatech Ding Dong Corp, headquartered in San Jose, California, the leading developer and global supplier of innovative, high-speed, world-class cloud infrastructure platform application solutions to worldwide global 2,000 customers in all industries. Megatech Ding Dong big data application infrastructure platform solutions are highly scalable, reliable, flexible, and powerful, built by a world-class team that possess in-depth understanding of applicable global communication standards, software and hardware, expertise in design, architecture, and development of standard-based open tech, IoT, mobile, wireless, container-enabled, distributed hyper-converging computer systems. Our technology leverages existing investments to create solutions which deliver levels of performance, ROI, and value to the business. So who wants to buy it? Right? This, in contrast to this. That's Salesforce. That was their entire pitch. Pin that says no software. Right? Which one is more engaging, right? If anybody pitched this to you, you'd glaze over, you'd fall asleep, you'd die, right? I mean, I might punch them, actually, is what I might do. Shut up, stop talking. But no software, it's like, okay, well, what do you mean by that? Like, you lean in, right? There's curiosity there, there's engagement, there's something that's very interesting about what's going on, so you want to find out more. The other one is like, I can't wait till the guy stops talking so I can go and get another drink, right? or he forces me to start drinking. I don't know, like either one, right? So versus no software. So how do we do this? You got to make it portable. Imagine it. Like, how am I going to get you to remember what I do? If I give you that first thing, what? Can you remember any of that? Do you remember what the name of the company is? Do you remember what we do? Do you even know what we do? I don't know. Like, you know, if you're gonna, you gotta make it portable. It's gotta be something. Oh, I met this guy the other day and he does this. You should talk to him. It's portable. I can carry it with me anywhere, right? That's what you want. You want somebody to remember you for what it is. It's got to be portable. It's got to be easy to remember. Something that is, no matter what they do, they can't trip over the words. It was something to do with this kind of tech IoT. I can't remember what it's called, but you know, nobody's going to remember that. So it's got to be easy to remember. And a lot of that is based on the solution. It's got to be something that a 10-year-old, no slag against a 10-year-old, but you know, a 10-year-old's got to be able to understand it. They don't understand these complex terms, probably more so than me, maybe. But you know what I mean? Like, we have to be able to explain it in a non-jargony way. Okay, I'm gonna take a picture. You can take a picture of that if you want. It's, I don't know, you're gonna get the deck afterwards. We can share, Cecile can share it out to you. But this is a worksheet. There's a whole worksheet for this. But this is the 3-sentence pitch. You know how this exists, this problem exists. We solve this by ... imagine if ... Okay, that's it. If you can build a pitch around these 3 sentences, you can explain anything to anybody, anytime. It's that simple. So this is what it might look like. So you know how, just because someone is great at baking cookies doesn't mean they know how to run a bakery, right? Everybody should kind of go, makes sense. Just because you can bake a cookie doesn't mean you can run a business. Big difference, right? So we solve this by helping entrepreneurs learn the fundamentals to build business around their idea. Okay, I can kind of get along with that. I'd like to know more, but that's interesting. So then the big pitch, the transformation. Imagine if we could help anybody avoid needless failure in business. That's cool. How do we do that? Yeah, I'm in, right? So this is a 3-sentence pitch in its full, you know, kind of glory. And of course, you know, refined and worked on over time and stuff like that, right? So then we get down to a 1-sentence pitch. We're going from a 3-sentence pitch down to a 1-sentence pitch. And the 1-sentence pitch is that middle part. We solve this by. And the answer to the we solve this by is we do what, for who, how. You can explain your entire business that way. This is what we do. This is how we do it. This is who we do it for. You can explain everything. So if somebody says, oh, what do you do? We do what, for who, how. Okay. And this is what it might look like. So we're creating equity through well-executed entrepreneurship and microloans. 1-sentence pitch. So what is it? We do what? We're creating equity. Well, this one is implied. So for who? Those who need equity, right? So we're creating equity for those who need equity. And how do we do it? Through well-executed entrepreneurship and microloans. So we do what, for who, how. And that's the company I was telling you about earlier. So that's a 1-sentence pitch. Very, very simple. We do what, for who, how. And then you can even get it down as far as 2 words. And think about it this way. What do people Google search for? If they want to find you, what are they going to search for? Right? Could be moving, right? Could be homeless shelters, right? For the guy online. Could be entrepreneur roadmap, as we'll show in a second, right? It should be something as descriptive or regional, or there's a Google search term that they would look for. It could be 3 or 4 words. I mean, I'm not going to be picky, but think about that. Again, so one of the attributes of a great entrepreneur is not solving a vitamin problem. Typically, they're solving an aspirin problem. Does that make sense? I'm not just looking for something to keep me healthy. I'm looking for something because my hair is on fire and I need help right now. So what are they pounding into the internet search engine to find you? I freaking hate this problem. I need to solve it, right? That's what you want to capture in 2 words as best you can. What are the 2 words you're going to own on the internet? So entrepreneur roadmap. If you go and look up entrepreneur roadmap, you're going to find me, all right? So backyard rinks in Edmonton, there's 3 words, but you know, it's a pretty specific thing. It's very regional. It's very specific for backyard rinks, but are they going to find you if you're building backyard rinks? Hopefully, right? And you can optimize that and figure out ways to do that. Or the best falafel. Right? Because that'll always regionalize too. You know, it's like the best restaurants right around you. Where's the best falafel? And you can type it in. So you can own those words, or you can own these 2 words and kind of get down to it. Okay. Bigger context now, how it all fits together. So you get this idea of two words that they find on the internet, right? They're looking for a problem to solve. Then, if you meet them in person or whatever, you get that 1 sentence pitch. We do what, for, who, how, right? You might have it in a 3 sentence pitch if you have another second or two, or your elevator pitch is your 3 sentence pitch. You know how this problem exists. We solve this by doing this. Imagine if this was the reality that came from. Then you might get into your 3-minute pitch and a 10-minute pitch and appendices. The problem is, most people start with this 10-minute pitch crammed into a 3-minute pitch, right? So, and it's like, and everybody's like, what? No. Your confused mind says no, right? But take your time. The whole point of any of these is to get another meeting. It just keeps going. You keep going until you convert them, right? They may hang around the middle for a while. It could be a year. It could be 1 month. It could be 1 week. Could be a decision at a grocery store chain. Doesn't matter. But you've got to figure out, it takes time sometimes to get through this, depending on how complex your pitch is or your business is. It takes time to get into it. They're going to still do due diligence. If they're going to invest $1 million into you, they're not going to go, oh, 2 words. Yeah, here's $1 million. Right? It doesn't work that way. But you don't have to try to explain everything in your 2 words. You just got to make sure you keep explaining more and more. And they're going, that's cool. Tell me more. Explain more of that. How does this work? Who does it work for? What kind of experiments have you done? You're going to ask more and more questions as time goes on, but don't try to cram everything into the middle of it. Just get their interest piqued, their excitement going, and keep them moving forward. We'll do that in a second at the end because I'm pretty much done. Okay. Does anybody remember this? Top reason why business fails. You two can't answer.
No market.
No market, right? What does that mean? No market.
That means nobody wants your product.
Perfect. That's what it is. Simple terms. Yeah, nobody wants a product. So how do you avoid it?
Identify the problem.
Explain the problem well. But yes, identify the problem. So is the problem, a lot of people will jump to the problem, to the solution really, really fast.
Right.
There's a saying that I've heard a lot before. It says fall in love with the problem instead of the solution. Right? And I love that saying because if you're really curious about where the problem comes from and it starts like that whole Kindle drill thing, right? You start to understand, it's like, oh, well, that's a whole lot easier to solve because now I understand where the problem's coming from, right? So that's good. Yeah, ask a lot of questions. Curiosity and humility. Shut up, ask lots of questions, and you're gonna have a lot better time in finding that problem, okay? Do you remember the key areas for the customer journey? Do you remember some of the things? I mean, explain it in whatever terms you want. It doesn't have to fit into a nice, neat metric. Yeah, okay, so understanding who you are. Yeah, what else? Acquisition is in there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, retention is another one. Yeah, there's one right in there. There's a switch from acquisition to actually buying something or being ready to buy it. Huh?
Activation.
Activation. There you go. One more after that. After retention. Referral. You guys got it. You guys are superheroes. Look at you. Okay. And then, okay. So, and then the foundation of the 3 sentence pitch. Do you remember the 3 initial, what are the 3 starter sentences?
This is what we'll do to fix it, and then a packet in.
Good enough. Yeah, you know how we solve this by imagine if. Perfect. That's good. That's good. Okay, so here's some books that you can enjoy. They're all fantastic. Very, very simple book on, it's kind of like when you throw a paper airplane and it crashes the first time, when you're like 3 years old and tried it and you fold it into a piece of, I don't know what it is, like garbage, but then over time you get better and better and better at making a paper airplane. That's like entrepreneurship. Okay, it's a really, really great book. Simple, clear, amazing stuff on jobs to be done and interviews and how to talk to customers. Business Made Simple, again, a similar analogy actually. Talks about a plane and getting all the plane in the air, all the things in the air at the same time. And then Blue Ocean Strategy, of course, is understanding where all the competition is and how to avoid that. Utility is kind of cool because it talks a lot about the 2 sentence pitch again. It's getting down to when people are searching for you, how do they find you? Right? Where are you fixing utility? You're the utility for them. That's it. I have an app, it's free, download it if you like. It's helps a lot of these things. I've got worksheets in there for around the 3 cents pitch, all kinds of things. It's the only promotion I'll do. Let's just keep ending needless failure. I'll turn it over to you for any questions or thoughts. I'd really like to hear your 3 cents pitches. Questions and or thoughts and or pitches?
I'll take them from online too, if you guys have questions.
Put that format again.
Yeah. Going forward, there it is.
But, okay. Question, Jackie. I help small business owners do the things they don't have the skills or desire to do. I think that's her,
Okay,
that's
that's a 1 sentence pitch, yeah.
1 sentence pitch.
Okay, so that could be anything. Do you do manufacturing? Do you do janitorial? Do you do drive my clients around? Do you do bookkeeping? You see how I mean? It can be almost anything. So that might be too general. Think of the point that the entrepreneur is feeling when they're calling you. What's the big thing that is going to go on in their head? And I know it's obviously general, you're going to help with a whole bunch of things, but what is the one thing that you can just nail it every single time? If they came to you and said, I need help, you're going to go, I got that for you, and you nail it. What is that one thing? That's where you want to get to, by the way. Anybody else? Questions? I'm sure she's typing, so she can come back to it.
For the 10 words, does that include the name of your business?
That's more of a statement. I mean, it could be sometimes names Skype doesn't really mean anything, right? So there's not a description word in there. Entrepreneur roadmap, on the other hand, is very descriptive, right? So yes, your words could include that. When I say 10 words, the whole point is we tend to write in these big flowery content things and try to explain everything, but most people are only looking for, give me the Coles notes. I just want to know right now so I can figure out if I like you or not.
Yeah.
And I know that's ruthless, but that's how it goes, right? 42% of the time, people are building something nobody cares about. So what are the 10 things that I'm going to care about that you can help me? That's why even for this lady online, what I'm asking is, okay, what's the one thing that when I come to you, you're going to solve for me, and I know you can solve it for me, right?
She says she's professional and technical services consultancy. I'm still confused.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're confused, what does a confused mind say? No. Okay. So pick one. Now understand this, and I want to address this because this is a really great illustration, and I'm not picking on you at all. This is actually very, very common. I deal with engineering, engineers of $100 million companies or whatever, and they're trying to explain everything, and there's 1,000 features, right? And they want to get all of it out because they're all really cool, but nobody cares. I want to know how I'm going to feel when I get this problem solved. So if it's professional services, that means accounting, that means bookkeeping, pick one. Because if I come to you and I trust you for bookkeeping and you're amazing at it, then great, I'll come to you for maybe hey, do you know anybody who's a good accountant? Oh, I can do that for you. Oh, do you know anybody who's got, legal services? Oh, I can do that, or I can introduce you to somebody who can. You got to start with one thing though. And if it's different, a whole bunch of different offerings, then those are different channels. A lot of complexity to try to manage, but that's how you manage it, by one at a time. You pick one, you get really, really freaking good at it, and then you go to the next one. And then once you get that done, then you can go to the next one. But all of that adds complexity to your business and makes it more difficult.
Okay. Jerome says, you know how there is a need for housing the homeless and less fortunate in Edmonton? We solve this problem by utilizing an online, sorry, I gotta scroll down, platform to connect these individuals with families, FBOs, and other organizations that can help. Imagine, damn it, if we can completely resolve the issue of homelessness in our city by utilizing this business.
I love that. Okay, so again, simplified, like I'm going to go, what's an SBO, what's these things, and I'm going to be asking questions, I'm going to slow down, and you're going to lose me. But I get what you're going for, and I love the idea. I mean, this is a really cool concept. Okay, so I'm gonna retry the pitch just for your sake on this. Okay, not to say I'm better at it, but I'm just gonna try to simplify it. So you know how there's a lot of homeless in Edmonton. We solve this by making sure they have good matches with a bunch of organizations and individuals who might be willing to house them. Imagine if we could end the homeless problem in Edmonton, right? And now somebody might go, oh, that's awesome. How can I help? Can I get involved? Can I house people? How do you do that? Who do you talk to? Who do you help with? There's 1,000 questions that can come out of that, but you've got to be able to say it in a very quick thing. See, this is where I hear that going, and no fault of anybody's other than the stupid entrepreneur training system that we've been developing around the world. That's an elevator pitch. You know, we're not going to do it that way, right? We're going to explain it in real simple terms. So you know how there's lots of homeless? We solve that by matching people and places that can help them. Imagine if everybody could have a place to live. Tell me more, right? That's what we want to get to. We want to make it really, really simplified so that anybody understands it. And then you can go to the next levels. Well, who do you use? Well, we use these guys and these guys and this. What's an SBO? I don't know. Well, let's explain it. That's how you want to kind of work on it and build up to it. But you start with something that's so simple, anybody can understand it. Make sense? Thoughts? Anybody else want to try it?
Sure. I'm just debating because I'm kind of in the situation is like my business idea has a potential of people. It's not a specific demographic of target.
Perfect.
It's more of how they feel, how they.
Well, good, because demographics are stupid. Does everybody who's, who's white and old and straight like me think the same way? Not even close. Like I could blow your mind on some of the stuff I've been through in my life that nobody would understand, right? So it's never about, well, rarely about demographics unless you're like kind of waist size, right? Like, okay, that's a demographic. I don't fit like, 18-inch waists. I fit like, oversized. So why don't you give me a pitch? If you have to prep it, it's probably, that's fine. You should be able to, it should almost be condensed right into the thing. And then you're going to get into details of demographics and psychographics later, right?
Right.
Yeah. Awesome. Of course. That's what I'm here for.
So you know how people would spend hours on finding the best gym in Edmonton? We can solve this by offering you one membership. Imagine if you want to access any location in Edmonton, depending on where you are.
Great. Okay. Awesome. You open to some feedback on it?
Yes.
Okay. What is anybody else here? You guys all have brains in your head and feet in your shoes, and you can choose any way you choose. You know that yet? Anybody know that book? Dr. Seuss, come on. So, okay. So, anybody else want to try? What do you notice? What questions do you have? What's going on in your head when she said that? Good, bad, not good.
Is your membership going to Edmonton? What kind of gym? Is it going to be one that was in all of the gyms? It's not clear enough.
See, there you go. See, that's why I get it. See, I love this because anybody can think about it and they hear it, and it's so valuable to just say it without having to give prep on it, because when they hear it, they're going to start asking questions. There's one of the guys in the ecosystem, Gazim, and they actually refer to it as Gazim's, pitch. And so Gazim will walk up to you and he say, and somebody will ask him what he does, and he'll say blah 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 blah, and then he'll go, okay, now you tell me what you just heard. And they're like, what, and so, but it's a perfect example of that, because all of a sudden the other guy has to explain it, and he's amazed all the time. It comes back, it's like, I didn't say any of that, right? We have to hear what other people hear. And this is the value of running it by other people. You stand in a Starbucks line and ask a bunch of people and give that pitch to people. Can I run a business idea by you just for a second? And see what they say. And they go, I have no idea what you're talking about. Or they're going to ask different things. They're going to ask, well, how does it work? Do I get one business? Do I get one card for all those memberships? And do you know FitSet? FitSet Ninjas. You should go talk to Chris. Oh, what's his name? Tim Gorley. I can make an introduction if you want. FitSet Ninjas started with this. So they started with this idea of being able to subscribe to a membership that got you access to any of the gyms, and because he wanted to go boxing one week and then go do ninja stuff the next week and things like that. So it's not a new idea, not to say that it's not needed and not to say that there's a great way to figure it out. And my immediate thought is, oh, okay, what's the problems when I'm looking for a gym? Is it just geographical? Is it a style that I'm looking for? Is it because I want more complexity, or is it because I want to meet more people? Is it because, you see what I mean? There's so many complexity of layers. What is the problem that you're solving? What's the job to be done? It's not just when you say we're going to help you have a membership or have access to all the gyms. What is it that people are driving there for? Right? Like, what am I looking for when I show up to the website? And it may be different things, but you're going to have very, very different landing pages depending on the psychographic, not the demographic. What are they thinking? What are they feeling? What are they going through right now that says, I need this? And that's how you filter your funnel. Your R metrics, AAARR, are based on, okay, if I build a landing page that says this emotional transformation for that person, they're going to get this, and then they're going to sign up, and we assume that that's going to happen 30% of the time. And then it doesn't, so you change the picture, you change the tag, you change the line or whatever, and you see, and you constantly measure that. Once you get that one performing well, then you can figure out another channel for another landing page coming in, right? Okay, anybody else want to try one or say something?
I kind of put together like a combination of a 3-sentence minute.
Yeah.
And you'll have to forgive me that I'm like nervous because it's my idea.
Me too.
It's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad you're nervous. So, you know how moving is stressful? It takes forever. Sometimes the movers don't put your stuff in the right way, and everything just falls over when they try to load it out.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're scrambling last minute, like, what do I put in which box? And oh crap, I just busted the box open because I just jammed everything in there.
Yeah.
We solve this by an app that generates a moving plan for you, including generating your items are shown in the box. The boxes come numbered, they come delivered to you numbered,
Yep.
categorized. And from there, a mover receives a moving truck plan. Once they're notified that you want to move, then a local mover will also have the app, and they'll get a moving truck app, so they're not having to scramble, okay, how do I put this in the truck the right way? They already have the moving truck plan.
Yeah.
So all they have to do is look at the iPad and say, okay, box is numbered 1 through 12, this is going here, the fridge is going there, and we're out.
Yeah. Okay.
And
A few more than 3 sentences.
yeah, and imagine if we can keep stress free now.
Okay. So you sold it all in the last sentence. I didn't need all the rest of it.
Okay.
You see what I mean? Like, okay, so now you sold me, and please understand, great pitch, and totally understand where you're coming from, and you detailed a lot of pain points for people.
Yeah.
So that's good. Wipe it all out and start with just the one pain point that really makes sense. Like, you know how moving's a pain? We solve this with an app that kind of really creates a moving plan for you. Imagine if everybody could be stress-free in their move.
That's great.
Done. Okay, now I'm gonna go, oh, cool, how does it work? Or,
The problem we have.
yeah, you're addressing, okay, so remember I said the problem comes in 3 ways, and I'm gonna give you another way to refer to it. A functional problem, I need to move, right? Emotional problem, oh crap, this sucks, right? And a social problem, I want to look like I have it all together for not only my family, but for the movers and for the, and the people in my neighborhood, look like I actually know things instead of running around with my hair on fire. So social, emotional, functional. That's the way you're addressing the job to be done. So if you can address that in that job to be done in the pitch, then you got it. So you know how moving is a pain in the rear end and nobody likes to do it. It's actually counted. I mean, you can even say that. You know how moving is counted as one of the top 6 stressors of all time? And we solved this by creating an app that allows you to build a moving plan, makes everything seamless. Imagine if you could just move without any stress. See how the first one and the third one actually tie together. this is the problem and this is how we're gonna solve the transformation, right? Those two things always work together. In the middle is kind of that juicy bit of what you do for who, how, right? So, but that's a 3-sentence pitch. Then it'll allow me to go, that's friggin' awesome. Tell me more. Now you can talk about the details, you can talk about the app, and you can talk about the things. But honestly, I'd save that for way at the end. Nobody cares until they get to the point. Because if their hair's on fire, they're gonna keep moving through the process until they actually are ready to buy. Right? But the other thing I'm gonna give you is building apps are really expensive. So I want you to figure out how to make this happen with the plan of getting to an app, but doing it with sticks and stones and pieces of paper and, lots of hard work on your side to get to that point.
Yeah, it's like Flying Fish starting to
Yep.
build a web page, and they, in the background, we're doing all the work to make it look
Exactly.
like it was happening like magic.
Exactly. Jessica Doody refers to it as the Wizard of Oz thing, right?
Yes,
So,
minimum viable product.
yeah, even that, I mean, even if it's not even a web page, it's just even a simple call me and we'll, call us to make your move seamless. And then you just do all the running around and then eventually it becomes an app. So there's actually another one with CSW, one of the big accelerators in town. And what the girl was doing is she was basically coordinating food allocation out of dumpsters and out of the back of stores to people that needed food, right? It's strange and oddly illegal and all kinds of weird stuff. But she made this work and it was working well. She switched after years of doing it very successfully and like 100,000, people fed. She decided to start building an app. So you see how much work she did before she even got to the point where she was doing an app, right? She was just doing it with clipboards and manual discussion and whiteboards and mapping plans and all that kind of stuff. Because all you're doing is stuff people have been moving for, centuries, So now you just have to do it in a processed way. Oh, I'm going to take a picture on my phone. Everybody's got a phone. I'm going to categorize that into this album and I'm going to do this with it. And you know what I mean? Like you can do all of that without an app. Once you have that, it makes it a lot cheaper and a lot easier and a lot less expensive to build the app because now, hey, this is everything I have. Put that into an app. And they go, all right. And that's a lot better. Otherwise, you're like messing around and that didn't work and this process didn't work and get all your processes and functionality kind of figured out beforehand and then build the app. Okay. Sure. I got time for one more at this point.
I was just wondering if elevator pitch will be able to help a playing student like me.
Yeah.
Who is just looking to attend networking events
Yeah,
and I don't have any business idea or whatever.
it's okay.
You're
It's you.
somebody's problem. You want to solve somebody's problem with your skills.
Even more so, the way I say it is your life is your business. And each project, each job that you have is just a project that you're trying to deliver and make a good name for yourself. Okay, so the same thing applies. You know how, people can't find what's your job?
Right now.
Or no, what are you studying? Or
Marketing.
okay, so you know how, we'll pick a part of marketing that people have problems with. So you know how marketing is a problem? I help SEO guys and and SEO is a bit of a buzz term, but don't maybe use it. But I just help you get more people to your front door. Right? You see what I mean? And so you can simplify it a little bit more and they're going to go, oh, tell me more. Well, I'm a student and I'm learning to do this and I'm looking to apply it somewhere and I'd love to see where I can help you. You see what I mean? So the pitch works anywhere. It works for anybody. It's a matter, the whole idea is take all the stuff. You're not going to come in and say, hey, I'm looking for a job in marketing. Can you help me? Not necessarily.
You're just marketing yourself shit.
Yeah.
You can't.
Right? So, but if you come at it from a different way, it's like, how marketing is a bit of a challenge for a lot of companies. We solve this by, or I solve it by, coming in and sitting down and understanding and bringing all the stuff I've been learning, and I can help you get some of that sorted out. Imagine if you could get some of those, more people to your front door like you're wanting to. All right.
Sure.
This should all be recorded because I come up with some good stuff. Okay, good. And I'm like, what was that thing you said? No idea. It's not me. I just kind of make it up on the fly. So I'm pretty much good. I just want to be conscious of everybody's time. Thank you for having me. I hope it was enjoyable and informative, and reach out anytime you need to.
Thank you, Colin.
everybody online for joining us. If you want the slides, pop me an email, okay?
Yes,
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank
good to have you guys.
Thanks, Lou.
I developed my app the cheap way. Anyone that needs to move, move with Planet Moves.
There you go.
Planet Moves, that's,
Planet Move?
yeah, that's what my idea is.
Nice.
Planet Moves, yeah. And then, like, I feel like I could be applied for the